Orange man, thank you for joining me. How you doing?
As good as I can be.
Just whatever.
Yeah.
I see how it goes.
Feels a lot about that past couple months.
Yeah, you've been having it rough, man. Between you, probably Daniel Garcia, a little bit of Darby Allin, everything going on with the BCC. I'm just wondering, like, who's watching? Who's gonna watch your back now? You're in John Moxley's sights.
Well, I hope nobody, because the whole goal of me, you know, stopping this thing was, I throughout my career at AEW, it just seems like everybody that I associate with, my friends, they all tend to have terrible things happen to them. So I think now it's time for me just to do it on my own, so that no one else gets hurt. But I know those guys, and I know Darby, and I know Danny, and I know even Private Party, Dark Order. Like they're gonna have my back. I can only convince them so much. Even the conglomeration are kind of letting me do this on my own, and they're not happy with that either. So hopefully nobody has my back.
I've been looking at it in a way where, like, are we about to see the rise of a team AEW? So like some of the biggest young talents on AEW will come into face the BCC. So it'd be like you, Daniel Garcia, Darby Allin, and then whoever out. Like, is that something that you'd be willing to kind of explore because the numbers game is just going to be too big for you?
Yeah. I think it's already clear that Darby and I do have a history, and we tend to. Darby and I may be completely different stylistically, but our idea of what professional wrestling should be, and what being a good professional wrestler and our values are pretty much the same. And I know Darby because he's just like me, and he's going to do whatever he can to make sure that this stops. So yeah, I believe Darby and I will be, if I had to say anybody that's watching out for, if I had to pick somebody, it would definitely be Darby Allin for sure. But I really hope no one else steps up. I really don't. And I think it's important that it remains just us.
I mean, you just mentioned everyone you get close to in AEW, bad things seems to happen for them. Chuck Taylor being like the most obvious one, right?
Yes.
Where are things with you and Trent now? Because the last thing you need right now is Trent Baretta coming back and kind of joining the BCC, or just giving you another issue to kind of worry about. You could really use him on your side right now, but obviously that's not going to happen.
Yeah. And obviously we saw what happens when I do get pushed a little too far. I hit him in the back of the head with a wrench, right? Like that's not cool. And he's been hurt for a very long time. I don't know if I will ever be able to repair that relationship with Trent. I hope I do. I do. I hope I can, because he is. He was one of my best friends for a very long time. But also, you're absolutely right. I think we could use someone like that. I could use someone like that watching my back.
How is Chuck now? Obviously, he got attacked by the BCC. Was it last week? The week before?
He's moving around. All right. It's his career was already being threatened to be ended, and now I think the extra little chair bit didn't really help at all. So I'm not sure about his condition at this point, but I'll send him some emojis or some stuff on text. He's fine.
He'll be okay. I want to know what you've got. Okay, so you've got Jack Perry, the Young Bucks, Mac and Nick. They seem to just be staying clear of all of this, despite being so high up in like just the AEW kind of pecking order as EVPs, and Jack Perry being a pillar, one of the pillars, just like you. Without those guys stepping in, does that make it more difficult for you to kind of step up? Because now you're kind of stepping into a role where really they should have been doing that for you.
Well, yes. I mean, that sums up pretty. I shouldn't be in this position. I never wanted to be in this position. This is, this is what they wanted. This idea that they wanted to be those people. Yeah, it's a situation that I never really wanted to be a part of, and I don't think it makes it difficult. It's just frustrating, and it's like, well, this is what you wanted, so now do it. But now I have to. So, yeah, I don't know. It's yeah, it's a little frustrating because where are all those people? Where is everybody? It is frustrating. Yes.
Then you're just kind of left holding the fort down. And you mentioned one thing that I've really kind of clung to from the start of this entire issue with Moxley and everybody over in Blackpool Combat Club, was you said you didn't want to get involved because every time you go to basically go to war with one of these guys, you're never the same after. You come out the other end as a different person, is I think what you said. I'm just wondering if you've got some examples, what you mean by that. Like, how does each time you face one of these guys, how does that change you? How does it change your approach?
Well, I mean, if we just start as early as Pac, my first singles match in AEW was with him in 2020. And the rivalry that I had with him, took me through 5 years of not only heavyweight, a world title matches, also a bunch of all-Atlantic international matches. There are things that I've done with him just throughout my career that has taken years off my life. I also had to, Pac is one of the best wrestlers in the world. I had to, he was my first test, and I had to adjust my style. I had to adjust my strategy because of him. Claudio Cassidy is a big monster that almost prevented me from wrestling John Moxley for the national championship the one time. And Wheeler Yuta, obviously, there's such a close personal relationship there with him. I lose a little piece of that friendship, I think, every time we step foot in the ring. And with John Moxley, physically and mentally, I will never be the same after All Out, and I will never physically, mentally be the same after last year Full Gear. Even though I beat him, it was like he still won somehow in my brain. I can't explain it, but I feel that my emotional wrestling has changed significantly because of that, and not for the better, I don't think, but we'll see.
You've shown more, especially towards the start of this year, you were definitely more aggressive. You're coming in, and before you'd kind of have a bit of fun and then feel your way into a match. And then it felt, again, at the start of the year, especially, that you were coming in and just being a lot more aggressive off the jump, just trying to get straight down to things. Was that part of, obviously, the matches against Moxley, especially where it has taken a part of you and changed that emotional side?
Absolutely. It is that exactly the, I am a very psychologically based professional wrestler, obviously. And, I understand what strategy, I always have, I always adapt to the person that's in the ring, and I try to throw them off their game. And, obviously after you wrestle a bunch, people kind of get, familiar with your wrestling style and your tricks. And John Moxley is the person that had a answer to all of my I should say, he had an answer for me for everything I did inside the professional wrestling ring against him, and I had to go to a different place and I had to show something different. And it unlocked a very much more aggressive and very much more, instead of defensive approach, offensive approach. And you could clearly see that from my first match in 2020 to now.
Do you feel like that's going to help you if you have to go toe to toe with Mox again, or when you go toe to toe with Mox again?
Yeah, I have no idea, because
he's different right now too.
He is. I say this a lot. John Moxley and I are pretty much the same when it comes to, no one really knows what we're going to do inside the ring. I think it is a very tough situation for me because I'm usually that one, but now he is the one that I have no idea what he's going to do. So really, I really don't know. I should be more confident, but I'm not. I really don't know what I'm going to do.
Sometimes not being confident's the best way, because then you can you're more alert, you can react a little bit quicker.
And I think that's what, I may have, yeah. I don't want to get too deep. I don't want to get too deep in with, before the match. After we can talk all about it.
I just want to flip the script a little bit. So this Thursday, November 7th, you guys are making your debut in Providence, Rhode Island, right? So I think that's a Collision, is it, episode you recorded?
Yes.
You're from New Jersey, which is not too far from Providence. It's far enough, but not too far. Are you going to, how do you feel kind of going closer to home? Will you be visiting family and friends after the show or before the show? Is it something that means something to you to debut in new cities?
I don't really have like the East Coast is kind of all of, I would consider that all of my hometown, you could say, all these, but I really had a lot of early success and exposure in the New England area, especially Providence, with Beyond Wrestling, and they were very influential with me to show my stuff, to show who I was, and really gave me the exposure. It is always nice to go back to that area because the fans that were around then 10 years ago are still here and they're still around, and it's awesome that they get to experience everything that I've gone through because they are so much a part of it. They are a part of it as much as I am, and they are kind of going on this journey with me because I do give a lot of ownership to those fans because they are literally it because of them that I am where I'm at. So it is nice to come back to an area like this and I get to share that with them.
There is so much, Boston in general, Boston, New England, that area, just the amount of wrestling talent that comes out of there is ridiculous. So it's just, when you go there, do you try and go back to, with you, it was Beyond Wrestling, do you try to go back to where all those the up and coming guys are training and try and give back a little bit?
I kind of keep an eye on them, I do try to get out to, I've been trying to get back out there to Beyond Wrestling a lot because it is a very special place to me, but the schedule that I have right now is a little tough, but I do plan on going back sooner than later.
Trained in Providence, around the New England area, from New Jersey. As you can see from the wall behind me, there's a mixture of there's some wrestling stuff and then there's a lot of basketball stuff with specifically Celtics. I've been informed you're a Philly sports fan, so a lot of what's on my wall is probably offending you right now. But I'm just wondering where you kind of see Philly sports teams this year. Some predictions: NFL winner, NBA winner.
So I just understand that when you're in Philadelphia, you are a Philadelphia sports fan. So I've kind of accepted that. I don't really follow much of anything because, I just don't care. But I do know how important sports is to the Philadelphia city. So I try to respect that, and I do because it is a great time whenever I go out to either an Eagles game, Flyers game, Sixers game. But hey, I've been to Bruins games, I've been to Celtics games. I'll watch anything just as long as I don't really have to care.
Yeah, I understand. Okay, I've got two left for you, 2 questions left. We can make these quite quick ones. Can you give me one or two of your favorite matches since you've been in AEW?
I always go to the Hack match for 2020 at Revolution. It was really my first singles match, and it's the first time everyone really got to see me on that type of a scale. And then I don't know. I'm fond of a lot of things, but Allin last year, where we were able to defeat the Blackpool Combat Club, and me, Chuck, and Trent were able to share the center of the ring together in victory in front of all those people. That's always going to be a special moment for me.
And then the last one, if you could do 3 big predictions for your next 12 months, Orange Cassidy's next 12 months in AEW, what would they be?
Hopefully, hopefully I'm AEW World Champions, because that means I beat John Moxley. That would be great. And yeah, hopefully, in the next 12 months, I'll be able to find more time to sleep, because that would be great. I don't know. I hope I get a different color of denim. I gotta work on that.
New outfit change. We're going for a new style.
Yeah, maybe.
There we go. Thanks not very much for this time, Orange. Appreciate you.
Thank you. See you soon.